Hey everybody, today I'm giving this Benchmade 940 Osborne a little spa day. So this is my brother's knife. He's never cleaned it. He's never had it sharpened, but it looks like the previous owner probably had it sharpened. You can kind of see the tip. If you can tell, it is pretty dull. There you might be, but you can see a flat spot right there at the tip. So my dad borrowed this last summer when I was putting a fence in my backyard. He was helping me, and he cut open quite a few packages of concrete with this, slicing probably right into the concrete mix. So he dulled the tip pretty bad, but for this spa treatment, pretty much the goal is to take it all apart, fix the centering because it's a little off, keep it from, or clean all the inside out because it's a little gummed up in there. You can feel it's not very smooth or drop shutty like Benchmade axis locks usually are. So give it a good cleaning, then put it in the Work Sharp precision sharpener and get a whole new edge on it. So right now I'm going to take it apart. Okay, so I got it all stripped apart. Here's that internal chassis thing that the pivot goes through and the washers ride on in there. And it is pretty dirty. You can see a little kind of rust color in there. I don't know if that's actually rust or if something else rusted and just left that rust residue on there, but pretty dirty. And the blade itself, pretty dry washers. That one was pretty much seized up, stuck to it, so that definitely wasn't providing much gliding action. And dirty G10, which I won't really be able to get too clean, but there you can see it took four T7s, 1, 2, 3, and 4 to get each scale off. The two middle ones hold the chassis thing in the middle on. Pivot hole, and I had to take the pocket clip off to get to the back side right here. This screw is hidden under it, and to get the whole chassis out, I pretty much had to take the whole thing apart. So pretty much just going to rub all that down with a paper towel and get it all cleaned up. Kind of ready to go back together then. So I cleaned off the washers. I had some EDCI solution is all I really had, so I sprayed that on there and it got a lot of the gunk off. And then I was taking apart this chassis thing because I knew I had to get to the inside where the washers ride. There you can see a bunch of grime where the washer was sitting. But I had to fish the axis lock out through there. You leave the springs attached because they're wrapped around the little thumb stud thing there. And then you kind of just fish it through like that and put it back up into place when you're done. But got that apart, and then that pops apart because of that little pin being press fit into there. So I'm leaving that, obviously. And then I'm just going to rub this stuff down with EDCI solution. And once I get that, I'm going to start putting the rest of the knife together before I resharpen the blade. Here is the Work Sharp Precision Sharpener, or Precision Adjust. So I have just the blade in here. Usually I'd do it with the whole knife, but when I already had it apart, I assume it'd be fine just to do the blade itself. So I'm starting on 220, which is the most coarse grit that I have. And what I pretty much do is what the instructions said, which is go, I gotta move it away a little bit. Go up and down along the blade like that, back and forth, 8 to 10 passes, and then you flip it over and do it again. And I'm gonna do that probably twice on the 220, twice on the 300 and 400. And then once I move up to the 6 and 800 and ceramic, probably just do one pass of tin on each side. So going to be hard to do it behind the camera, so I'll show you the result after. Now we are done with sharpening. You can see the edge. No more flat spot at the tip. Nice and sharp. I'll show a cut test at the end so you can see how sharp it is, but now I have to start reassembling. I got the springs and the axis lock back in the little chassis, and now I'm going to put it back in the frames. Well, in the scales. And the last thing I'll put in is the blade and the washers. And here we are with the frame all back together. See the lock functions there. Don't really know if it's smoother. I'll have to tell better when I get the blade back on it, but pretty much just going to try to jam the phosphor bronze washers with a bunch of this pivot lube. Let's see what kind it is. I just use this high-tech oil. Don't really know anything about it, but I've been using it for a while and it seems to work okay. When I need to buy new pivot oil, I'll probably buy like whatever, knife pivot lube or whatever it's called, so KPL. So that seems to be what everybody else uses. So once this runs out, or once I feel like buying a new kind, I'll probably switch over to that because I really know nothing about that kind. Here it is, all put back together. And the final thing to do is spray it down with some EDCI. Clean that blade up. And just take a microfiber. There we go. Nice and clean blade. And let's do a cut test. See how the sharpening turned out. Here's just a plain sticky note. Not too bad. Definitely slices. You could see, even from the flat spot in the original clip where I showed the edge, it was so dull it couldn't even cut into the paper. So cutting up this little crumpled up piece of sticky note, definitely a big improvement. And there's the action. So way less sticky. Not super drop shutty like the Benchmades usually are. I had to tighten it down to make sure the pivot wasn't loose. And it's still a little off center, favoring that clip side. But nothing major. Fires out way better. And at least it is nice and cleaned up. So we'll get it back to him and hope he likes it. Don't know why I cannot get it to focus. There we go, kinda. And that should be all for today. If you liked the video, drop it a like. And if you want to see more videos, mostly reviews, but other videos. You can check out the rest of the channel and hit the subscribe button to help us out. And thanks for watching.